Are you feeling drained and are you struggling to keep your mental energy on par to achieve those dreams at home, at work, or in your business? Where you are in the right place to discover how to approach protecting your mental peace and keep your energy in any situation. Hello and welcome. My name is Sigrid de Kast, book writing, publishing and marketing specialist, and I've invited Carolina Becker, Red Race Recovery Coach. Hello, Carolina.
Good morning, afternoon, good night, even for you. Hello.
Great to have you here. Well, we're going to dig deep into this topic and share essential strategies to help you safeguard that mental peace and energy, whether you are interacting with others or you are creating something new, empowering, like, for instance, making your long-held dream of writing a book come true. It helps to keep your energy from being affected by others. Isn't that so, Carolina?
Yes, absolutely. Well, and having a dream, whether it's writing a book or something else, having a dream and a vision for the future actually sets you up for a type of success and a type of mental peace. When you have when you know where you are going, so look at it as sitting in a car and you're driving somewhere, and you know you need to go to a certain address, and you have figured out what route to take, and you know how you are going to get there. Can you imagine the mental peace that you have with it versus when you know you have to be somewhere over there, but you're not quite sure where it is? And so a lot of having a certain mental peace is knowing where you are going when you start the journey. Does that make sense?
It certainly doesn't. Actually, you've touched on something here that I've seen recently being discussed, and I was wondering what the distinguishable component or factor here is. So, like me, you are promoting or suggesting that we do have this dream with a plan, or, once we have this dream, we will put a plan in place because then we know where we're going. We're going there. Now, sometimes, or some people will say, no, just get started, just get going. And yes, I can understand that, so as not to get into that progression, that procrastination mode. But the thing is, yes, sure, you can get started, but at some point, surely you want to have that plan to get to this end point. Completely without a plan, Carolina. Is that helping or not, really?
Well, it depends on the type of person you are. So 50% of people listening right now are going to say, yes, that's me. I need a plan. And 50% of the people are going to say, well, no, I'm just going to wing it. And both is okay. So it depends really on the type of person you are and what type of human needs you have that you thrive with. So now we're going into the 6 human needs of Tony Robbins very shortly. As you know, I'm a Tony Robbins coach. So when you have more need for certainty, and that's one of the 6 needs, you are going to have to plan everything out before, and at least in like on the main topics, let's say, before you are comfortable taking that first step. If you are more a variety person, and you love excitement and you love surprises, good surprises, don't get me wrong, then you will want to have like this dot in the end, and then you will find your way to it. So it very much depends on the needs that you have as a person, and there's really no right way or no wrong way to go about it. What is very important is that you know where you want to go, so that point, that dream of yours, you will, if you know what your dream is, your brain will start finding you opportunities towards it. If you do not know what your dream is, then your brain will just go its own way, and you will never know where you are going to end up. So having that, and dreaming big, I always say, if you have a dream, make it bigger. Like if you have a dream of owning your own house, for example, have the dream of owning a villa with a pool and everything. Or if you have a dream of living in a cabin in the woods, make it a tree house in a beautiful forest or a jungle even. Make it something amazing, so that your brain will start pre-selecting the opportunities to get to that amazing dream. Make sense?
So going bigger than what you are intending to helps to what? Expand our whole capacity of seeing, achieving, and seeing opportunities around it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Look at it from so there's yes. Look at it from a perspective of so you get a lot of impulses every day, and if you would remember all those impulses, and if your brain would process that all of that, we would sort of flow over like a cup of water, and so we would completely melt down. So your brain is filtering all this information and only lets through consciously a really small portion of it, and everything else it does on automatic, sort of on autopilot, as you may say. So it sort of gives you a little bit of the information, and everything around it it doesn't it doesn't see. So here, let me give you an exercise. Look around the room and tell me how many red things do you see. Take a moment, everybody. Look around the room and tell me how many red things you see. Look at all the red and the not the, also maybe the brown and the now tell me how many
I see
blue things do you have in the room?
it. I have no idea. I was only counting the red things, of course.
Exactly. And so what happens, even though you saw blue, your brain didn't think it was important because it said, no, no, I have to look at the red things. So blue is not important. So you have no idea, even though behind you, Sigrid, there's this blue bug, let's say, and I see a dot. So there is stuff that's blue in your room. You have no clue how much. Now, that's how the brain filters. And the brain will do the same for you when you focus on your dream. It starts making your dream the path. It starts looking for opportunities of your dream. And so it will make those things more important, just like we just did with the red. When I said, look at all the red things in the room, your brain made the red things important. Well, if I would have asked you spontaneously how many red things are in your room, you have no clue. How many blue things? No clue. But it became important because I asked. Now, in that same way, you can make your dream important by thinking about it often and by putting it on that road that your brain is trying to walk.
I like that very much. Now, let me bring that very quickly into the area of expertise that I work in around writing a book. So thinking bigger or thinking really big, going to write a book and it's going to be a huge success and really dwelling in that big outcome that's going to be achieved. Loads of people want to know, interview, inquiries are coming in. It's going to be really fantastic. Now, put that from your perspective into the person that's in a leadership role, in an executive role. How are they to think bigger about their next level up in their area of expertise in their work, for example? How do they look at thinking bigger? What are they going to dream about?
So people in leadership roles, what they would dream about is maybe their next position, but also maybe it's not the next career step that they are dreaming about. Maybe their dream, and now we're getting back to the energy balance, of course. Maybe their dream is not so much to earn more money or to be in a higher position, or maybe their dream is to be in harmony when they are at work, to feel that they are supported by their peers instead of having a competition with them, which is very often the case. To feel that because they have maybe a board or maybe the CEO that is their manager and supports them. Maybe to feel that they can always go there when they have questions, that they do not have to be super strong and pretend that they have everything together, but that they can just have a person to talk to and to say to, hey, I cannot figure this out. Can you support me? Or the dream could be that they have more time for their family, that they can actually take a holidays of 3 weeks, which is already amazing, and then just not pick up their phone for 3 weeks in a row. That could be goals as well. Now, what will happen? Let's say if you would like to have more support, or if you would like to have that holiday. So let's say let's focus on that holiday for a moment. If you would like to have that holiday, your brain is going to see those opportunities. And it might not happen in the next 6 months because your brain needs to get used a little bit to that, right? We have been telling ourselves so much that, well, that simply isn't possible for me. Or in case of wanting more peer support, they'll think I'm silly, or they will for sure think that I'm not knowledgeable enough, or I'm not, I don't I'm not entitled of my position, let's say, because I ask these questions. I'm supposed to know this. I'm supposed to be the leader, so I am not going to get that peer support. Now, let's take that peer support, and you need help with something. If you have been telling yourself over and over and over again, I need to be strong, and it goes very unconsciously, yeah. So we're not there looking in the mirror in the morning telling ourselves, I need to be strong, I need to be. It doesn't happen like that. It's that little voice in the back of our heads that very often we are not even aware of. That the moment you say, okay, where can I get support for this? And you come up with, oh, I could ask that person. It immediately says, no, you cannot ask that person. What would they say?
Yes.
And so it's let's say you step into a room and that person is there, and you have in your mind is, oh, I want to build more peer support. Then your brain will find you openings. They will find moments that they use a different wording. Your energy is going to be different. You're going to be in resonance with them. Your heart is going to be slightly more open. So the conversation is really different from when you are closed down and when you do not have that selection process, let's say, that road that you have determined for you to walk.
Where you're
Does
going.
that make sense?
I think it absolutely makes sense. So that lends me to ask or think about this area here. So we're practicing that. Of course, we're not used to it. We're sort of habitually jumping to these, oh, that won't work. That person won't talk to us. You're saying to keep imagining that, keep dreaming it, using that term dreaming. So how do we then stay centered and maintain that focus to not get overwhelmed by external influences? I mean, it probably certainly would take a while, but are there little tips and how we can stay on the path, stay with our dream, and all these outside voices and, people around us are saying that's not going to work and so on?
Well, at first, I would absolutely say find yourself a peer group that supports your dreams. So the five people that you spend the most time with is who you become as an average. So if you look around and you're with five people that do not support your dreams, then chances are that instead of you bringing them up to the level of dreaming, that actually you will sort of move your dreams down and you will dim your lights and instead of giving them a little bit of your light, they will dim yours a bit. That's not a conscious choice. Don't get me wrong. But when you are a person that grows and that wants to achieve more, then you will always have to look at who do I surround myself with that also has that dream, so that we can dream together, so that people will not say that might not be a good idea. So let's take book writing, if you allow me to take that. If book writing is a very creative process, and if a lot of us, when we were kids, we were super creative. We could, I don't know, put together something from paper, put together something from wood. We could write because we didn't care what somebody thought of it. So it's a very creative process. Now, while we grow up, sure, some of us lose that creativity basically because we're in that rat race of, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that, I have to do that. And so people do not make time for creativity. So it's a conscious choice to make time for creativity, right? And I'm trying to, just lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
Right. It makes perfect sense what you're saying there, to stay with it. Absolutely. So when we're thinking about that, there are certain misconceptions around how mental peace and staying focused that we have that really don't serve us. Maybe you have a one or two of these misconceptions. You would be coming across this, that people say, oh, that won't work or this won't work. Will they say that to you perhaps at the beginning when they're working with you, for example? I get that, of course, with book writing. Oh, that's not how it's done. That's not how it's done. They sort of think they know from olden days and outdated information around writing and publishing. Have you got that with staying mentally focused to keep that mental peace, that peace of mind and energy?
So I can say, so I've been in this field now for 14 years, and I'm working on myself every day. And the more you know what you do not know. I can tell you, the more you work on yourself, the more you understand how much work there is still to be done. It's kind of silly. So yes, all my clients have some kind of what we call limiting belief. And any belief, I'm not good enough, that's not how it's done. Money comes hard. I have to work hard for money. And the or I'm supposed to work 60 hours a week because that's how it's done here. They expect that of me.
Wow.
There is a lot of those limiting beliefs, and it's a choice. It's an unconscious process in the beginning, but once you become aware of these thoughts and once you know that they're there, then it's a lifetime of work to get them out of your system. So I remember I still had one this morning saying when I turned on my camera and I looked at myself and I thought. I shouldn't have put this shirt because it's way too colorful and maybe I should adjust my clothing to whoever is watching. And then I thought, yeah, why am I even thinking that? Maybe people love the shirt, maybe they don't. Maybe why am I even thinking that? Now it's a very small limiting belief. I cannot be in front of the camera in this shirt because that was basically the belief. And the moment you work with yourself on these limiting beliefs, you catch them faster. And so then you can ask yourself, is this really true? So a lot of people have a limiting belief of I'm not good enough, and it all comes down to I'm not good enough. Basically, it's I'm not fast enough, I'm not knowledgeable enough, I'm not lovable enough, I'm not friendly enough, I'm not assertive enough, I'm not, and so on and so on and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And from that come these things of I have to do this if I want to be this, then I have to do this. But then I have to do this is very often not per se true, and it comes from our past. So let's say a person that I'm going to take the example because I had it yesterday with a client. A person that said basically money comes hard, and money comes hard. I have to work really hard for it, and this person is working 80 hours a week. And
Wow.
yeah, and funny enough, every time that he made a step up in his career, he started working a couple of more hours. So he started with a normal, I don't know, a 40-hour a week, and then he got a promotion. And then he started working 45. He got another promotion. He started working 50. Another promotion, started working 60. And so now he's working ridiculous hours, does not have a weekend. And so this is somebody that I'm newly working with. Um, and so we are working on that. Why do you feel that you need to work so many hours for your money, right? And basically what we came to understand is that from his parents and from his grandparents who had to work really hard to stay afloat, let's say, they they had that notion of money comes hard. We have to work hard for it. And so
Mm.
it was almost that he was still living that while at the same time, so every time he earned a little bit more, he had the sensation that he had to do more for it. So we're going to
Mm.
work on that now and get that limiting belief of money comes hard. We're going to work to get that, to recognize that, and then to get clarity. If you do not want that statement of money comes hard, then what's the statement that is instead of it? In my case, for example, because I worked on this a long time ago, is money comes in abundance and is flowing and is energy. And
Mm.
so
Mm.
that then when you instill um, a new statement like that for yourself, a new belief, then in the beginning it's a little bit hard, right? Because your brain is still following that path of
Mm.
money is hard. But at some point you're going to put that other belief on that road in front of your brain every time. You're going to say, no, no, I know you want to look at money as hard, but I'm telling you to look at money is here in abundance and money is good energy. And and at some point your brain is going to make that switch, thinking, fine, if you want me to look at that statement, then fine, I'll look at that statement. And you'll start seeing evidence of it. And
Just,
slowly you will get to a point where you
yeah.
see everything like that.
It's a little bit like when you asked about the red, how much red is there? If you had to say, if you said where is red, you see all the red, don't you? Because you're focusing on that. All of a sudden, your brain is seeing that. That is excellent. I'm going to summarize what I have really taken away from this here. dream bigger than you want to dream, than you think you're dreaming. Just dream bigger because it's possible, and you can see a lot more when you do that. Make sure you are in company of 5 is the magic number. You said 5 people around you that are striving for more, not holding you back, but that expansion can actually happen through the conversations that you're having, the exchanges you're having. So that is something I think I've seen and heard about that. And yet we do forget that, don't we? To have this company around us to expand and grow at all times. And I also really love that work on yourself, which is really what you've just shared with that latest client there. Keep working at, on what is not working at the moment. Just keep working. And we ourselves got to keep working on it as well. Carolina, that has been an exciting exchange of information again with you today. What are your parting words, your parting tip for today, or direction for our viewers?
Time went so fast. um, and I'm not looking at the clock, so it's just like, oh, already. So what are my parting words? I think if you want to get started with changing your limiting beliefs, one of the great things to do that is to start your day in a certain way, to start your morning, maybe with a meditation. Now, on my YouTube channel, which is at rat_race_recovery, there are mini meditations that I've recorded in the last month or so. Sorry. And some of them are a little bit longer, but most of them are 2-3 minutes of meditation to set yourself up for success for the day. And I also for mental peace, so how to deal with anxiety. I recorded one yesterday, an anti-bullying meditation. So there's a lot on there to calm your mind, because that sets you up for today. Tip number 2, and this is one that I do and have done already for a long time. I bought one of those little speakers for the shower, and in the morning I dance in the shower. And I know this sounds very cliche, but in truth, dancing in the shower is one of the best things you can do for yourself. It releases your lower back. It helps you physically to wake up. But most importantly, it elevates your mental state, and it makes you look at your day differently. Now, it will go with flows, right? Sometimes you don't feel like morning music. Do it anyway, because it will make your life so much brighter and more colorful than it is today. So get yourself one of those. Yes, so those 2.
Okay, I'm all with you there. So I love the meditation, starting with meditation. For me, that is my morning walk. I do that, and all the things go through my mind that are going to be wonderful for the day. So there's the positive thinking. And I love the dancing. I don't do it in the shower, but I do it around the bathroom while I'm getting dressed, into the kitchen, and so on. That music can really uplift you when you are first getting up, and you might be a little bit slower. Not that I am, but it's just so uplifting. I love your tips. I love the other summary that I've just done. So head on over to your YouTube channel. And I dare say, just to Googling Carolina Bakker on YouTube, your channel comes up. Googling Sigrid de Cast on YouTube, for example, my YouTube channel comes up, and I have all the tips and tools around writing, publishing, and marketing a book. So there you go. Tips for today. 2, keep your mental energy, to keep mentally strong. Don't get sidetracked by those voices and people around you. Stay strong. Follow the tips given today by Carolina Bakker. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks, Carolina.
Thank you very much, Sigrid.